Officials on both sides of the border have confirmed Prime Minister Mark Carney and U.S. President Donald Trump have been in touch since their Oval Office meeting last month, holding direct talks in recent weeks amid the ongoing trade war between the two countries. News of the direct talks comes as the trade war between Canada and the U.S. escalated Wednesday, with Trump hiking tariffs on imports of steel and aluminum to 50%. Carney and his Liberal government are under pressure from Ontario Premier Doug Ford and the Canadian Steel Producers Association to retaliate. About 550 people from Selkirk are employed by a steel mill in the city. Joining us now is Selkirk Mayor Larry Johannson. Good morning, Mr. Mayor.
Good morning, Rochelle. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, thanks so much for joining us. Now, so far, what impacts have the tariffs had in your community?
Well, at 25%, we're still seeing a lot of semi-trailers loaded with steel coming out of our plants, heading to other projects into the U.S. and across Canada. 50% is absolutely ludicrous. When the last time we talked, when I was in Fredericton, and it was ludicrous back then, well, it's gotten even a lot more ludicrous. We can't do business in the States at 50%. Now, in saying that, being optimistic, I always try to find a bright side to this, and I think the talks are the key right now. I know the ambassadors are talking to Mr. Litnick down in the States. I know Prime Minister Carney and is meeting with President Trump. These are important talks, and they're not talks that are being shown on TV or in the paper. They're good talks, they're private talks, and these are two businessmen, and I think there's going to be some sanity come to the table. We have to look at the positive aspect coming out of it. There's no room for failure here. We're not shutting down. We're not going to slow down. We have to make this work. We have to.
Have there been moves in your communities to sort of transition a business plan and less business with the States and maybe find new business partners?
Well, they're kind of forcing us to absolutely do that. This interprovincial trade barriers, they look like they are starting to connect, and they're going to be coming down, which is a good thing. We're looking at a lot of other projects, not only in Manitoba, but across Canada. At 25%, we could still do business in the States, but at 50%, it's just too expensive. It's just too much. So hopefully, I stood with Premier Canoe and his ministers in front of about 200 steelworkers, and we promised that there's going to be action, and we're not going to take this laying down. And I think that I believe in the leaders, and I believe that's what they say and that's what they mean. And I was in the States. I'm on the Red River Basin Commission, and I drove in from Minnesota last night, and I've spoken with state representation from Minnesota, from North Dakota. We didn't buy anything, tank of gas, and came back. But, they feel the same way. This is bad for business on both sides of the border. And it's really interesting to hear the perspective from down there. And they feel the same way we do, Rochelle. They don't like this, they don't like the unfriendly part of this. We've been trading partners. We've been friends, our two countries, for hundreds of years, and it's not something that neither side wants.
There's been calls for Prime Minister Mark Carney to retaliate with tariffs of our own. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I like the route we're going right now. I like the talks. We're seeing some disruption in the America right now. Elon Musk and President Trump, they had a great bromance going there, and now there looks like there's going to be a divorce. So, that's kind of a start of a little bit of disruption down there. We've got a lot of Democrats. Of course, they don't like this. And we've got Republicans now that don't like this either. They're hearing from their constituents the same way that the constituents here are speaking up and wanting the leaders to come to the table and let's get some action on reducing the tariffs. Let's get some business going, some more trade going. Let's open up Canada. Let's make Canada ready for business. Let's look at some projects up here.